Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of Pop Collaborate and Listen. My name is Dave Fensom. This week we're going to be talking about Sinead O'Connor's album, I Do Not Want What I Do Not Have. As we said before, this is the sound recording's a little bit of a work in progress. I think we're getting there. What you are going to notice on this one possibly is if you hear a little bit of snuffling here and there, the lesson that we learnt this week is that if you're going to record in a room with pets in, you need to take their collars off. So if you hear a little bit of snuffling or bells, that's my cat Spooky or my dog Waffles making a bit of noise. They're both incredibly adorable, so we'll let them off the hook. This week's podcast is brought to you as always by On The Edge Comedy. On The Edge Comedy is Brighton's best new material night. Twice a month we bring you some of the best comics from the up and coming scene with a professional headliner, and yeah, it's upstairs at the Carolina Brunswick, first and third Fridays of the month. Very cheap, very good evening. Please, if you're in the Brighton area, come along. What's going on in my world at the minute? Well, I'm incredibly jet lagged. I've just got back from Atlanta where I ate basically my body weight in food every day. So now I feel like I'm wearing a puffer jacket made of my own flesh. It's an uncomfortable situation, but it was worth it for a lot of fried chicken. Thank you so much, guys, for all your feedback on the podcast so far. Yeah, we had a really interesting launch last week. Some really nice tweets coming our way. If you don't follow us on Twitter, please do so. It's PCL Podcast at Twitter. So, no, it's not. It's at PCL Podcast. Instagram is at PCL Podcast as well. And yeah, I mean, you can find us on Facebook and all the normal spots. You got any feedback at all about the show? Anything you'd like to hear? Anything you like that we're doing? Anything that we don't like that we're doing? Please get in touch. And as with all of these things, please do go on iTunes, like and subscribe and do all of those kind of good bits and pieces, because I'm not sure why, but everyone asks you to do it, so it must be good, eh? Anyway, without any further ado, we're going to crack on with a podcast. I hope you enjoy it. Hello and welcome to the Pop Collaborate and Listen podcast, the podcast where we listen and review every single number one UK album of the 1990s. Why are we doing this? Mental illness, too much time on our hands, idiocy, high self-opinion. My name is Dave Fensom.
I'm Krister Greer.
And yeah, so week 3. Let's not mess about. What's this week's album, Krister?
This week we are listening to Sinead O'Connor's I Do Not Want What I Haven't Got.
Okay, that's quite a long title.
Yes, what she'd love to say.
Yeah, I mean, she really did.
She really did, yes.
Still has, mate. Still has.
Quite.
Okay, so where are we in the year at this point?
Right, so basically what we've done, if you've heard the first 2 podcasts, we had Phil Collins, But Seriously, and then we had the Christians' Colour. Phil Collins was number 1 for pretty much the entire first 3 months of the year. This one came in after his tenure at the end of March. So the week ending 24th of March 1990, wow. Sinead O'Connor got to number 1. And it's only for 1 week as well.
Right, we're only for 1 week?
Only for 1 week at number 1, yeah.
I mean, the single... the lead single was enormous, wasn't it?
Yes, indeed.
We'll get to that later, though.
Yes, but album just for 1 week.
Well, let's start, as always, with the album cover.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit of deja vu here, mate. Are you?
I'm sure we've seen this. Was this what they had to do in 1990 to get number 1?
I don't know, mate. It's like, what we're alluding to here, basically, is the album cover. It is a plaintive face, softly lit, bit of shadow, up close on a black background, which, if you were listening 2 weeks ago, is exactly the same as Phil Collins, But Seriously album cover.
Yeah, it is. It's almost the kind of the mirror of that. Phil's looking one way, Sinead's looking the other direction. Yeah. Got the male, the female, but it's very, very of a type.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't know why.
I mean, when I was thinking about this, I was going, how pissed off she must have been when she saw that album cover. But to be fair, 3 months is long enough to redo it, isn't it?
That's true enough. Or maybe she saw the album cover and went, balls, well, I've done the same thing. But he's number 1 for 3 months. So maybe this is why he's...
Do we think that record sales matter to Sinead O'Connor?
Nah, true enough.
Yeah.
But they did matter to... was it Fontana, I think she was on? They'll matter to the label, and they'll have gone, no, mate, do it. That's what we're doing.
Right, I've got the CD around here somewhere, so I should be able to tell you. Because, I bought it off Music Magpie. Of course I did.
Well, this is the other thing. At the time, did you know this album?
No, do you know what? I didn't know this album. I knew... in fact, I only knew Nothing Compares to You.
Right.
But I knew that very well, obviously.
It was prevalent everywhere for that. For most of the early part of that year.
So, I've got no relationship to this record.
No.
We'll get into some of this stuff as we go through the record. Obviously, Sinead O'Connor is quite a public persona, isn't she?
Oh, absolutely. As soon as she came out... and started talking to the press, and there were stories about her. It was a very big personality, big story.
Yeah, and obviously, the thing I don't want to dwell upon throughout a lot of this is obviously she's had a fairly troubled life. She's obviously had a lot of struggles with mental illness. Whilst we try and be pretty irreverent in this podcast, I don't want to be taking the piss out of someone who's ill.
No, absolutely.
Certainly some very interesting stuff that's going to come out of this record.
Yes, there's some subjects that we're going to be hitting upon that are definitely serious subjects.
Yeah, I'd say we're in from the first two records, which the Phil and the Christians, which kind of quite in that pop mold. I think we're getting into slightly heavier territory here.
Very much, yeah. Phil had the heavy subjects. He was dealing with famine and homelessness and stuff, but you didn't actually think that he'd any experience with that. Sinead is absolutely ensconced in everything she's talking about.
Yeah, Phil had done whatever the early 90s equivalent of Wikipedia in something was.
Yeah, true. Yes. I must admit, even growing up in Ireland and stuff, I was only aware of Sinead O'Connor very on the peripheries at this time. Right. I had heard Mandinka.
Yep. I loved that when it came out.
That's a great tune. That is a great tune. A mate of mine put it on mixtape in 89 or something like that, and that was my first exposure to her, but I knew nothing else about it at all, which actually made it a bit weird when Nothing Compares to You came out. I was thinking, this does not sound like the same person.
No, exactly that.
I wasn't expecting this from the one song I knew of her. So I had no relationship with this album either at all.
Okay.
Yeah, brand new to this whenever we went into it for this podcast.
Fair enough. I'd probably say, there's not really a huge amount that we can say about the record cover other than it looks like the Phil Collins one. It's very tastefully done. She's got very striking eyes as well.
Indeed. And, also, I suppose whenever you look at it, it is reminiscent of the video for Nothing Compares to You. So maybe that's why they've done it as well.
Exactly.
It hits something in your memory and you go, oh yeah, I've seen that.
Okay. All right. And so, so we crack straight in with the first track?
Yes. Might as well go for it. We'll go for track one. Track one is called Feel So Different, and it's a kind of a slow starter, this one. So I'll hit play and we'll take it from there.
The serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Courage to change the things I can. And the wisdom to know the difference.
That's my therapist's favourite quote.
Is that right?
True story, yeah.
Yeah. It's a... I find this a very strange way to start an album.
Yeah, I think it's... I don't know, it's very sparse. Mm-hmm. You've got this really kind of restrained vocal.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a real slow build into something.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
but I think straight away we're into the fact that with most of this record, a lot of it is about the lyrical content.
Definitely, I think it's lyrical content, but also her voice. Yeah, and this is fair enough. You kind of immediately you got this lovely voice that she's bringing to the fore, but it's a build up to the kind of more histrionic stuff that she can do. I suppose it's an introduction to that.
Yeah, and it's got this kind of like really kind of tight string arrangement underneath it that just kind of lilts along and builds slowly.
I'll pause it here anyway. That's enough for that.
There's that lyric in there. I think it's just as you stopped it. I have not seen freedom before.
Yeah,
and that's like, all this whole song's about some kind of. It's all addressed at someone. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of this record, she's talking in I've worked this out, but everything about it says I'm trying to work this out. It's it's about conflict or so much.
Right.
She's like just fighting against herself throughout.
Okay, and presumably at that point, kind of a journey, because if she did have a troubled childhood, lots of troubles with her mum, and she's finding her way.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, probably that.
Yeah,
probably that. Yeah, I'd say that's a fair indication.
Yeah. So obviously, start with this quote that said, "Grant me serenity." And so it's all about. I mean, that's very much a quote that's aimed at people who are trying to find their place in the world.
Okay.
Tied in with mindfulness, it's a very, very popular quote for people that have internal conflict which gets in their way, people that are seeking therapy. Yeah. Right. And that, for me, it's pretty much the perfect way to start this record in terms of what the intention of it is.
I suppose it also it brings in the first hint of religion as well, because she's saying God. It doesn't have to be God grant me, but she says she does make it that way. So there's that first little mention of religion as well as finding her own path.
Yeah, exactly that. So yeah, I mean, in short, very sparse, very restrained, not someone who's not, kind of the opposite of the Christians last week. This is someone who has an awful lot of ability but is in no great hurry to show it off.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
And the power of it comes from its simplicity. I think it's a great. I think it's good. We're not in singles banger territory, but I am instantly interested in trying to go. Okay, well, what's this about? It feels like someone that's got something to say.
Right. Yes, that's true enough. Yeah. I like as well because if you look at the producers of the album, one of them is Nelly Hooper. It obviously made it massive the year before with Soul to Soul.
Yeah.
And I think the strings and the backing track, if you put a big breakbeat over it, then you could have it's almost like a Soul to Soul track.
I see what you're saying.
And he's, or rather, Sinead maybe has spotted that her take on that is going a different direction. It's not going to be the big chart banger, dance floor hit or anything like that, but the kind of the passion and the tunefulness that Nelly Hooper is able to provide on a very instrumental backing works really well for her voice in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. On a side note, though, if your name was Nelly Hooper growing up in Ireland, would you have the piss taken out of you?
Well, yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Right, let's move on.
Just for the listener's pleasure, let's play a little more of when it gets into the more dramatic bit of it here. Yeah, I think those strings are lovely in the background there. Works really well.
Oh, lovely,
it's almost
really
Bond.
Yeah, I bet you'd hate to hear that.
Well, yeah, no, the drama, etc.
I listen to that though. That's so nice.
It is lovely. Yeah, man. Okay, no, I agree. This is a good tune. From your point of view, I see it is a very good opener in terms of intriguing you.
Yeah.
I wonder if I'd heard this at the time as a 15-year-old, would I have gone, meh, whatever?
I don't think she was aiming this at 15-year-old
No,
boys.
no, absolutely. But this is probably why I wasn't listening to Sinead O'Connor at 15. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, absolutely, it works. It's a goodie. But then we move into a very different, it feels so different, kind of mood.
Yeah, I Am Stretched on Your Grave.
Track 2, which, again, from reading up on this sort of thing, is an old 17th century poem that was written in Irish and translated into English.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in 1979. And so it's an old poem that presumably is, spoken word of mouth throughout families in Ireland, whatever. That's how you'd hear it.
Okay.
I imagine that's the thing. But it's a weird one. So,
well, I see. Not knowing that, I had a very different take on what this song might have been about. Well,
okay.
Let's go
play. Let's.
Now I'm going to be honest with you, mate. when I put this CD in to listen to it, I didn't put the CD in. I did not expect to hear the funky drum and break.
No, absolutely not.
That was not what I was.
Again, going into this knowing, like I say, Mandinka and Nothing Compares, and then knowing a little bit of what she'd done in her future, I was not expecting that.
I kind of thought that Madonna had the lockdown on using James Brown breakbeats appropriated from Public Enemy whilst talking about Catholic guilt, but apparently not. Apparently it was a bigger market than I realised.
God. No, this is a bizarre one. It's like I say, it's a 17th century poem.
Yeah.
And then they've put, the most sampled drum beat in the world.
Okay, because that kind of makes sense. But obviously, you've got a very folky traditional vocal from her in this.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
That is, it's slightly different to her normal vocal. I think it's definitely got that kind of down by the campfire. I say campfire, I mean peat bog.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, it's more of the Irish traditional coming out.
Yeah,
for sure. And also, I think her vocals are lower in the mix on this one.
Yeah, well, you got the break all over it. It's interesting though you should say coming out though, because I thought from a couple of lyrics in this was about like repressed sexuality and possibly I thought this was maybe about her having an encounter with a woman. Obviously, it makes sense now because obviously if something's been translated, it probably was. It may have originally been written by a man. So, because there's these lines in here about thanks be to Jesus, we did what was right, and your maidenhead.
Yeah, it's still the pillar of light.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that stood out to me as a bit. I mean, to be fair, even if it is written from the point of view of a young man in the 17th century, it's just a little strange thing to put into a poem.
People talk about that kind of thing all the time. I mean, if it was an R. Kelly song, obviously it would be different. But...
yes.
But yeah, no, so I mean...
I say, no, but that may be absolutely why she decided to do it. Because doing it from her point of view, but not changing the genders of the protagonists in the poem.
Yeah.
So it's a woman talking about a woman. Maybe that is something why she did it, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, either way, there is a thick layer of Catholic guilt all over this song.
Yeah.
I mean, repression and all of these kind of things.
Yeah.
Right, so we're talking about the first part of the song at the minute.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you feel about this breakbeat with this thing? Do you think it goes... They sit together?
No, I think it's incongruous and done because that's what people were doing. Probably in 1989 when this was recorded.
Yeah, I mean, I think... So this is the way I thought. Okay, I went, okay, this is incredible. It sounded jarring to me.
Yeah.
Okay. But I kind of got used to it. And I went, oh, actually, this is working for me on a level, right? Yeah. And then they started with the fiddle-dee-dee bullshit.
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
And then it lost me entirely. It's like, I mean, that's not me slanging off Irish folk music, right? But there's a time and a place.
Is that time Ireland in the 17th century?
Yeah, well, just somewhere where you're expecting it, really. I just think it's bad form to drop it on someone unsuspected.
No, you're true. I mean, I'll see if I can find the bit here, but it does. It goes from like this has been happening for 4 minutes at this point. These kind of big beats again. You got Nelly Hooper all over this, and then
oh my god, why?
And then hold on, is that Michael Flatley coming in
over the hill? Yeah. See what this reminds me of. Okay, and obviously it's a different type of Celt, but when you're in Edinburgh for the festival, every time you walk over the bridge, there's always one shop, and they're blasting out like this bagpipe music that's got a big beat behind it, and
really?
It's like, mate, this is music for magicians. Do you know what I mean? Music for fucking magicians. Okay, so thumbs up or thumbs down on this?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna cop out of that and say no, neither, because I don't hate it. Absolutely don't hate it, but I don't like what she's doing.
I think it's of its time, isn't it? I think that's
very true. Yeah,
I think it's you've got to go through this experiment of doing stuff to work out. Oh no, that's a terrible idea. Let's not do that again.
Right? Yeah.
Right? And unless you're the Dropkick Murphys and you make a career of it.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I assume it was one of those things that she probably wanted to do. She loved the poem and whatever, and she wanted to do a version. And in 1990, that's how you did it, because suddenly had these breaks in the charts for every single big song, and you did that. And then, for her own reasons, she threw the fiddles in the end.
Yeah, I mean, no one's perfect.
Well, quite. It's. I say it's fine. I tell you what, I wouldn't have done. I wouldn't have put it as track 2.
No, I don't think I would have either. I think I'd have put it as a B-side.
B-side or right at the end.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
right. Okay, but no. I'm saying ambivalent to that.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll give you that.
Fine. Next one, though.
Next one. Track 3, Three Babies.
Three Babies, indeed. And this one was a single. This was actually a single off the album.
Yeah, and when I was looking at the lyrics, I saw a different cover, so I presumed it was.
Right, It was the last single off the album,
okay,
so they weren't looking for a hit off it or anything like that, but they needed something to put out.
It seems to have a lot of love online, actually, this song. It seems to mean a lot to a lot of people. Anyway, so let's go with the...
Right, let's start it off.
Yeah, so we're... This is kind of the tone for the song, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's quite one note, which sounds more damning than I mean it to.
Okay.
Right? It doesn't do much beyond this.
No, she goes up in the chorus. It's more of the high pitched and the more kind of anguished bit in the chorus, but the majority is like this.
No, but anguished is a good word. Obviously, I mean, this is a song about, I mean, most likely miscarriage.
It is,
because we know that Sinead experienced some miscarriages, and there's a possibility that there's possibly some abortion in there as well.
I think from my reading of this one, she'd had 3 miscarriages at this point when she wrote this one. She also had a son. So she had their first son, Jake.
He's referred to a few times in this record.
Indeed,
actually.
yeah. I mean, obviously, it's a massive deal, I suppose. After having the 3 miscarriages, she does have a son. But she'd had the 3 miscarriages. She did have an abortion, I think, after this song. But I don't think that was part of this one here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sound like we're digging too deeply into someone's personal life here, because we haven't. But the point is, I think the reason we have to do that with this record is because the lyrics are so direct and so personal all the time that it is very difficult to separate the two when you discuss them.
Absolutely. This is cathartic for her.
Yeah, for sure.
This is a tribute to her 3 babies.
Oh man, and cards on the table, I have my own experiences with this, which makes this an incredibly difficult song for me to listen to.
I bet it does. And that's the sort of thing that you do read with online, people's responses to the video, etc. Everyone brings their own experience to this,
for sure,
because I mean it's not a universal experience, but it's such a widely experienced experience for so many people. Yeah,
without a doubt, and it is something that is not talked about a huge amount even to this day. It's a real taboo subject. It makes people very uncomfortable when you talk about it. So for me, I think this is a great song. I genuinely think this is a great, anything that can elicit that level of emotion in that many people is a great song.
Agreed.
It's, as I said, for me, it's a difficult one to listen to. I won't be putting it on any playlist anytime soon.
Sure.
But I think this, on the album so far, this is the first evidence of, okay, this is actually a very powerful artist who's able to take a very difficult, complicated subject, really reach into their own emotions on it, put it out on the page, kind of put it down with a beautiful vocal.
Yeah.
And just make a statement, and at a time particularly when this is a number one album. This is not what people are necessarily. I mean, I suppose you got Tori Amos out there as well, but this isn't necessarily what people are doing. No, not at all.
And we've definitely not seen anything like this up to date with Phil and the Christians.
No, and I don't know. I mean, fuck me, I wouldn't want to hear Phil's take on this. No, Jesus Christ.
But even looking through the rest of this year's number ones that we're going to be doing, this is a niche that no one else is really plying that I can see.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, Three Babies, I kind of think of it as like Requiem for a Dream. It's brilliant, but I'm not hurrying back.
Yeah. No, I completely understand. I'm lucky enough I've never had my own experiences with that. I think this is a gorgeous song. I really do. I think it's beautifully sung. The lyrics and the meaning of the whole thing hits with me, even though I can't relate. I think this is fantastic. I really do. And I think it, like you say, it's a bit one note that when we get to the chorus and she's going for it a bit more, there's genuine emotion in that. It's brilliantly done.
And that's the thing, I feel like to this point we haven't really talked about just how good her voice is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like that's why she's sustained a career, because it is such an icon. It's a one of a kind voice.
Yeah,
really,
it's instantly recognisable.
Right. So on to track 4.
Track 4. Right. Okay. So we've had one single, and then we go on to track 4, which is The Emperor's New Clothes, which was also a single. This is a single after Nothing Compares. And I can instantly hear this. This is more of a radio-friendly track.
Yeah, we're stomping, aren't we?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's straight in apparently. Going suddenly right in there.
Yeah, certainly the most straight-ahead thing we've had so far.
Definitely. And I don't know if this is to do with, on this one, you've got Marco Peroni, ex Adamant and Susie and the Banshees on guitar, and Andy Rourke from the Smiths on bass.
Now you said that, I can definitely hear that's where that's coming from.
Right.
It's got that kind of 80s alt edge, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. This is probably the most like Mandinka, where she's coming from in '88. And yeah, it's got that little bit
new wave.
Yes, definitely. I think I have made a note of. It reminds me a bit of the Primitives' Crash.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, hear that.
Yeah, and again, I don't know whether this is. Actually, I'll just pause this a wee second. Right. I don't know whether it's just because growing up in Ireland, I was hearing some of these things, but it reminds me of both the Fatima Mansions and that Petrol Emotion. The two other Irish bands who were out at that time and had that coming out of the 80s a bit alternative sound. That's what it reminds me of.
Fair enough. I put here like that kind of little break on the intro. I put sounds like Bat Dance. It does. Okay. It sounds like Bat Dance.
Well then, let me get that back. I'm going to listen to it with that in mind. 1 second. Okay. Right, yeah, absolutely. I do see that. I had not noticed that before.
The greatest Prince record.
The greatest Prince.
It's not. I'm fucking joking. Jesus Christ, I'm not insane.
Just I know how much you love Prince. I didn't know whether that was the secret. Guilty pleasure one. I
did actually recently just get the Batman soundtrack on vinyl. I found it in a charity shop. And
dude. How happy were you?
I was so happy. I was so happy. I'm still happy.
I'll tell you what though, because when I was listening to this, it reminded me of another song. I'll see if I can find the bit I'm trying to think of. It's the
Fraggle Rock.
As it comes into the chorus. Wait till it gets into it.
Oh,
is that
Every Breath I Take by the Police?
Oh no, okay, but no, it's like a speed up version of that. I'm going for it. If you wanna do it right, to me.
I love
I'm getting a Wham overtone.
After we've done the 90s, we'll do the 80s. We'll talk all about Wham. I've got some opinions. Get Cyan, a guest on it.
Oh god, yeah, and Steve-O. But yeah, no, exactly. Whenever it comes into that,
I see that, yeah.
I think so. That's actually a good chorus as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is a catchy song.
Oh mate, this is a great tune. This is well, we'll talk about the playlist stuff later, but this is. I mean, this was a really deserved single. Yes. And I would imagine this sold some copies of the album as well.
I imagine, yeah. I think it didn't apparently do very well single-wise. But no, it did better in the US. Okay. It got picked up on kind of college rock over there, but it didn't do much in the UK.
Okay, I mean, again, I don't know it, so I suppose that is telling, because I would have known it if it's a chart song.
It didn't make any impression on me at the time.
Okay, but a really, really good song, I think. But I mean, again, this is a really typical of even the poppy Sinead O'Connor stuff. On the surface, you've got like quite a big kind of pop hit, really.
Catchy.
Yeah, but when you start digging into the lyrics, I mean, you've got some real kind of themes of distrust of other people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like that internal conflict we talked about before, and my God, it's paranoid.
Well, yeah. I mean, that entire refrain, if I treated you mean I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
That kind of, what do you think of me? What impression am I giving to other people?
Yeah.
What do others think of me?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, I listened to this and I was like, okay, this is a great song, but Christ, you sound like you're having some problems. You know, if you actually spend any time listening to the lyrics of this album, no one should be surprised that she went on to have some fairly...
Yeah, definitely. The mental issues.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like the Emperor's New Clothes, she people are telling her, again, I suppose that once she's getting to whatever level of success she's at that point, she's getting loads of people from all different sides giving her advice, telling what they think. You should do this, or you definitely shouldn't do this. This is where you need to be, and blah blah blah.
Yeah, but there's also like there's this thing that runs all the way through, this assertion, right? The way that the I mean, maybe it's just a confrontation of my right, but it's always, I'm right about this, I'm right about this, I'm right about this. And I suppose part of that is, when you're writing songs from a single perspective. But it's like, there's just something really telling about someone saying how they're always, but that's not what anything else in the lyrics is saying. The everything else is saying, I don't know, but the tone of the direction is, I'm right. It's just someone that's really mixed up.
Yeah, definitely.
And I associate with that. I understand that feeling. I felt like that a lot of my life.
Right,
do you know what I mean? So so crazy, man. Anyway,
I'll tell you what else you've probably associated with all your life. Have you seen the video?
No.
Some dreadful dancing in that.
You're talking about my dancing. My dancing's amazing. What are you saying?
I've known Dave for 20 years now. Yeah, your dancing is quite something.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's amazing.
My dancing is fucking amazing. Go fuck yourself.
So that's the first 4 tracks of the album, and as far as I'm concerned, that's a strong start. It's a strange start for me, but it's a good, strong beginning.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a real mix of styles going on. We've got, we're going from, I mean, there aren't many albums where you can go, okay, so how would you describe it? The first track is a kind of lilting strings number,
a swelling background,
a dramatic strings number. Number 1, breakbeat with some fiddles, right? Track 3. Fucking very difficult subject matter, and then track 4 starts off sounding like bat dance, then goes new wave, right? It doesn't.
No, it's all over the place, but it works.
Yeah, it's good so far. So
yes, absolutely. Right. But let's take a quick break and see what else was going on in the album's top 10 this week.
Okay.
So again, we're looking at the week ending the 24th of March, 1990.
So you'd imagine stuff's moved on a bit from the last time.
It has, yeah. There are still some lingering. There's some people who are absolutely just ensconced in the charts and seem to be staying there for a while, but we have some different ones. So number 10, we've seen it before, Tina Turner's Foreign Affair. I guess that's just selling and selling. Sure. It's MOR, it's selling. Number 9, we have The Essential Pavarotti.
Good. Right, yeah. We mentioned this in the first one. There's a lot of Pavarotti in 1990.
Yes,
World
indeed.
Cup.
We are building up to the World Cup, and people are taking advantage. They're putting these compilations together, whatever it is. Essential Pavarotti is out. Number 9, it's already started to sell. We're going to be talking more about that another time.
Oh, good. Right, carry
on. Michael Bolton, Soul Provider.
Yes. I mean, Michael Bolton is everything that's great about the late... I mean, is there a number 1 have we got a Michael Bolton album?
No. We definitely don't have this year. I'm not sure if we do next couple of years or not.
I hope so, man.
But I mean, this was a massive one in the States for him. Yeah. The Soul Provider one. I think it's number 1 in the States for a couple of weeks this year.
Right, okay.
So yes, Michael Bolton's Soul Provider is number 8. And let's face it, you've never heard that album. I've never heard that album.
Of course I haven't. Why would I?
Absolutely not.
I mean, I wasn't someone's mum.
But yeah, that was a fucking big one.
I'll tell you who else I reckon hasn't heard that album.
Yeah.
Sinead O'Connor. What would you give for a Sinead O'Connor album of Michael Bolton covers?
That would be tremendous.
Or vice versa.
That would be absolutely amazing. I would only do it, though, if she was able to grow her hair out into that mullet.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I mean, fair enough, mate.
Or if he shaved his head.
Could he have a mullet, though, or did he just have long, curly hair? I don't think he ever had a mullet.
I suppose it wasn't really a mullet, because it wasn't sensible at the front, was it? It was just big.
It was just, mate, it was eccentric. It was curly.
Big old face.
Big old face. But fair play to him for his reinvention, all that stuff he did with Lonely Island.
Yeah, you got to give that. He's embraced the whole thing, hasn't he? Yeah. Thing is, I bet you he never had to work after that album, so he doesn't give 2 fucks about what he's doing, what people think. He can do whatever he wants. So yeah, absolutely, like you say, fair play. Number 7, and we're going to see a few of these for some reason. I can only assume it was reissue time or something, I guess. But number 7 in the album charts is Iron Maiden's Flight of Icarus and The Trooper.
Right, so they're releasing 2 singles and that's going it's probably over the length of a single, so it's officially an album.
Something like that, yes. Right. And maybe they're classing it as a mini album, but I think they did release them all again in pairs.
Yeah.
And this is one of the ones that we'll see more in the next few weeks as well.
Love me some Maiden, mate.
I know you do. One of the ones I never got. I mean, I was never into them at the time.
Yeah.
Well, when I say at the time, I was fucking born in 1975. I wasn't into them in 1990 at all.
Yeah.
In fact,
I wasn't
either
either.
parody.
I had cousins that were really into Maiden, and I just wasn't. That wasn't really my thing at the time. I got into Maiden really late after seeing them live.
Right.
Now, normally that's what I'd say. I'd say I'll go and see them live, and it'll totally change perspective. But I know you've seen them live, and you still
doesn't do it for
I just think you've got a cold, dead heart, because if you can't love some Maiden live, then there's something fucking wrong with you.
And the thing is, I think one of my barriers to it is probably one of your loves of it, in that it's just such pantomime.
Oh yeah, but that is the point of it. It's I can't tell you all the things that I love. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put you in a room with our friend John Myers, and I'm going to get him to talk to you about Iron Maiden for several hours.
Yeah, well, it'll go one way or the other.
And if only one of you will come out alive.
It's true. Right, number 5, sorry, is Chris Rea, The Road to Hell, which we've seen before. It's lingering around like a bad smell.
Yeah.
Notting Hillbillies, Missing Presumed Having a Good Time.
Oh, fuck off, really? That's the worst album title ever, isn't it?
Shocking.
Missing Presumed Having a... That's like the kind of album title for someone that's got a wacky voicemail.
Yes. There's a wink in that title. Yeah. And the thing is,
was it a super group?
It was Bob Dylan, George Harrison, Roy Orbison, Jeff Lynne, maybe Tom Petty. So it's massive people,
right?
And they're just fucking around.
I tell you what, if someone told me that Bob Dylan was missing, I wouldn't presume he was having a good time. I wouldn't presume that anyone he was with was having a good time.
Man's never had a good time in his life.
The Notting Hillbillies, fuck off. Yeah. Not interested. Carry on.
Then we go up to number 4, Phil Collins, but seriously, still. Exactly. He's off number 1, but he's still at number 4.
And the thing is, right, if you're selling the number of copies you need to be number 4 in the UK album charts in 1990, you're still selling more than probably the collective top 10 now.
Easily.
Yeah.
Absolutely easy. Every single week he's selling that many.
Yeah, fair dues.
Yeah. Number 3, Nigel Kennedy's Vivaldi's Four Seasons.
I mean, Nigel Kennedy can fuck off, can't he?
Yes.
I mean, he's like fucking Jamie Oliver with a violin.
Yes, indeed. He's pretend Cockney geezer, but a posh boy. And the thing is, I remember this happening. I remember it being an absolute sort of groundbreaking thing for the classical world. That this fucking geezer, mate. Yeah.
He's not a geezer, is he?
Not at all. But that's the persona he put on. Was this sort of anti-establishment, almost Johnny Rotten-esque version of a violin player.
Just sanitised bullshit, though, wasn't it?
Totally. But fair enough, massively talented.
Oh yeah, massively talented. Not taking that away from him, you know what I mean? But
no.
But and nor am I taking away from Jamie Oliver. I quite enjoy his recipe books. I'll be honest with you. But,
there you go.
Yeah. Anyway,
and then number 2 is David Bowie's Changes Bowie Greatest Hits album.
Number two. Okay.
Yes. So in at number 2 that week.
Right. Fair enough. We'll talk. I mean, that's. Spoiler alert, that's next week's number 1. It's a compilation, so we won't be talking about it in depth, but we will do a bit about Bowie next week, so we'll just save that for then, shall we?
Yeah, precisely, exactly. We'll talk about it next week. So that was the top 10. In terms of other albums that were released this week, ones that will never get to number 1, so we're not going to be mentioning otherwise. There's not too much, to be honest. It's a bit of a fallow week. The Fall, Extricate, which I was just never into the Fall.
I know. Do you know what? I was never into the Fall, and I find, to be honest with you, what I've heard I don't love, and I find the sheer size of that back catalogue is too intimidating for me to drop into it. It's the kind of thing where if someone who really loved the Fall did me a compilation and went, right, this is where
here's a 10-track.
Yeah, this is the stuff that I think you'll like, and I could dig into it and then have starting points, but. I don't know. There's just too. As always, there's just always too much to listen to. So what I'd rather do is listen specifically to number 1 UK 90s album.
Indeed, the Christians, you say? Definitely, yeah. Wicked.
Oh no, that is terrible. Isn't it? I've spent more time investigating the Christians than I have the Fall. What's wrong with me?
Jesus, if you went on Mastermind and you had to choose between one of those acts to answer questions on, it would be the Christians.
Oh, fuck off, man.
Yeah.
And then I'd turn the gun on myself.
In the US. The number 1 album was Paula Abdul's Forever Your Girl, which, as we've mentioned before, still number 1 in there.
So it was Forever Your Girl then. It was the first record.
Yeah.
Okay.
And number 1 single is Alana Miles' Black Velvet.
That's a song I kind of like, but kind of hate myself for liking.
Oh, really? I thought it was brilliant. I loved it.
It's like, it's just awful, isn't it? It is awful, but I kind of like it. Okay, let's head back into the album. So what are we on now? Track 5?
Track 5, yes indeed.
And that one is called...
It's Black Boys on Mopeds.
Black Boys on Mopeds. Okay,
Let's see how this one starts.
Margaret Thatcher on TV, shocked by the deaths that took place in Beijing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Strange that she should
So we're into Billy Bragg territory,
Yes.
kind of, aren't we? We're
Yeah.
into a bit of a straightforward political acoustic number.
Yeah, absolutely. Dead ahead. Like you say, Billy Bragg is probably the obvious point on that one.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a little bit on the nose, obviously.
Well, yeah, she's making a very specific point.
Yeah, but again, she was making a very specific point. I mean, Black Boys on Mopeds. It's about a guy that was basically chased by the police because they suspected the moped was stolen.
Yep.
And in trying to evade, he crashed the bike and died.
Yeah.
Obviously, the subtext of this is that he was only suspected because of the colour of his skin.
Yep.
Obviously, that's quite a relevant theme today with some of the things that are going on in the
For sure,
world.
yeah,
so kind of disheartening that things haven't changed in that way.
Yeah, and from reading around it sounds like there was this guy Nicholas Bramble. There was some big outcries for an investigation into the whole thing, and it was brushed under the carpet.
Sure.
The way it very, very often is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was also part of the righteous indignation from the public.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're in a strange political time. Within a couple of years, we started to get some political riots in different places around the country. Mm-hmm. One of them, most notably, in Luton.
Yeah,
most notably for me, I drove through it. But yeah, I mean, obviously, there is another side though. As with Sinead's stuff, though, it's not all. It's written from a very personal perspective. This because it's written about the fact that she wants to leave England.
Yeah.
And because she doesn't want her child to grow up in this
take
environment.
Her son out of this.
Yeah, exactly.
Society.
So, and the song is littered with Bible quotes as well. Some stuff in there. So again, it kind of ticks quite a few of those Sinead O'Connor boxes, really.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I mean, you're like you say, straight in. Margaret Thatcher, anti-Thatcher, Tiananmen Square. So lots of different political reference points straight away.
I mean, I think I found when I kind of dug into the lyrics and I looked at some of the references, I found some of those. I found the writing of that interesting. Mm-hmm. I went, okay, this is obviously I've got some thought into it that you've thought about the thing, but I've got to say, this is not one of my favourite songs on this album.
I don't think there's a real tune to it.
No, it's just a bit. It's
very worthy.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't mind it being worthy. It's just it doesn't have some of the. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it's got the same level of ideas and that the rest of the record's got.
No. I again, taking nothing away from the subject matter because it's obviously an important thing. But I came away going, it's a little bit Lisa Simpson. They hold the plant, but we hold the power. That sort of thing. It's sitting in a circle around a burning oil can, doing a protest with some signs. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of it. I think fair enough. Put it out there, get the attention, absolutely. And the other thing I was reading was that. There's also kind of some references to the death of a guy called Colin Roach in 1983 in police custody.
Yeah.
And the inside of the album cover has a photo of his parents holding a poster of him.
Right.
So she feels some sort of connection to that as well.
Yeah.
So she wants to be saying this. She really feels strongly
Sure.
about this thing. It's not just on a whim. It's not a Phil Collins homeless song.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, whatever you feel about Sinead O'Connor's opinions or whatever, I don't think you can question the fact that the stuff that everything she says is sincere.
Yes.
I mean, like beyond sincere.
She really gives a shit. Yeah. I mean, I also, even though she is not a young black man who was killed by the police, she's definitely got empathy for the struggle and the injustice and this sort of stuff. She's she wants to help.
Yeah, no blacks, no Irish, no dogs.
There you go.
So it's again a very worthy, good subject matter. Not knocking the subject matter, but as a tune goes, which is obviously what we're assessing these things on.
Yeah.
Don't love it.
No, the sort of thing as well. You see on the YouTube comments, people going, "Oh, this is an important song. I'm glad you wrote it. It means a lot to me." But no, as a tune, you're never going to stick this on your shuffle and go, "Wicked, this is come on."
Yeah,
banger.
Yeah,
Fair
exactly.
enough.
And not everything has to be a banger, but again, not a banger, but also not interesting in the way that, for example, the first song was.
True. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to the next one then.
Yeah.
And the next one, guess what, is the big one.
Okay.
So,
cool.
Nothing Compares to You. Here we go. And instantly, you go, I remember this.
Oh my god!
Straight away from those strings.
I mean, I don't even have to remember this. I've got this on compilations.
Right. And imagine being in 1990, this coming on, and this was your first introduction to Sinead O'Connor with the voice coming in. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, got these strings underneath it, which are just serving this vocal.
Yeah.
Oh my god! This is surely one of the greatest vocal recordings of all time.
It's beautiful, but you're right. The production absolutely serves it.
Yeah.
That is the right word. It doesn't overpower it. And I'm assuming this is probably Nelly Hooper again. I'm not sure, but he's not trying to put his mark too much on it. He's leaving it all to Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah, absolutely. Swell underneath it, just
Yeah.
so yeah. Okay, right. So
Okay.
I've got to make before we start. I've got to make a correction. Actually,
Oh, yes.
something I said last week. Okay, because last week I was talking about Prince, as I want to, and I said that part of his genius was his generosity to give this song to Sinead O'Connor. Actually, doing a bit of reading this week, turns out that wasn't the case. It was recorded without kind of permission. So you don't need permission, but
without his
yeah. But he actually gave this song to someone, one of his friends who was on Paisley Park Records with him, from a band called The Family.
I'd heard of Family, but I couldn't have told you.
I've not heard their version. I should have really taken the time and looked it up. But obviously, this version of it is the reimagining, basically. And
yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm assuming, I know you were a massive Prince fan even at the time. You hadn't heard his version of this.
It wasn't released.
Oh, it was still in the vault.
It's only. I mean, yeah.
Not even on rarities and stuff like that.
No, there was a live version which was a duet, which was released on the B-sides thing of the hits. Records.
Oh, okay.
But that one, I don't think that was out at this point.
That was post this.
Yeah, I think that was a few years later.
Okay.
And then the original version of it only kind of got released after he died. But I was reading an interview with his sound engineer, his long-term sound engineer, and she was talking about this song. It was like, this is one of those things where he just disappeared off into a room for an hour and came out with the lyric.
Yeah.
Complete.
Wow.
And the interesting thing about this is apparently, whilst obviously the song itself is about the death of a relationship,
it's a breakup.
Actually, where he was coming from at the time, because he wasn't living with someone, he hadn't had that breakup,
right.
But his housekeeper, who basically ran his life, had to go and deal with a dying father,
right,
and had disappeared. So actually, a lot of the real personal stuff in this song, all those things like the flowers that he planted mum in the backyard, all the stuff about the flowers dying, these were flowers that were planted by his housekeeper, and basically she'd had to go and deal with everything, so everything in his life had started to fall apart.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you don't have to have experienced something to write about a song, but it's quite interesting.
That's crazy.
But yeah, this is one of the greatest, probably. Well, certainly one of the greatest breakup songs ever written.
Right, yeah.
Right? And half of the things weren't actually about a breakup, they're about a housekeeper. How good is that?
That's amazing. I had no idea about that.
Right.
It was, oh my god.
Yeah.
And the ironing's piling up.
Yeah.
And that coffee cup is getting moulded, mate.
We've reinvented penicillin. There's some...
That's the long lost fourth verse.
Yeah, exactly.
Man.
But yeah, I mean But going back to the Sinead O'Connor version, whatever, you don't obviously you don't listen with any of that stuff in your mind, right? I mean, this is just a perfect song.
It is gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's heartbreaking. I mean, no matter how many times I hear this song, it's still, like if this song comes on and catches me and I'm in the wrong mood, this is a song I'll be like, I can't deal with this right now. I'm moving this on.
Next time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But tell me at the time, because obviously you were aware of it at the time. It was massive.
Yeah.
What did you think of it then?
I really liked it at the time. It wasn't necessarily the kind of thing that it wouldn't be something I'd have probably gone out and bought.
Yep.
Just because, if I'd have had an unlimited budget for singles, I'd have picked it up.
Right, sure.
But as I was, I could only afford I just got a CD player.
Yeah.
Any money I had was being saved up to buy a CD, which was £15 at that point.
Yeah. But the other thing is, you didn't need to buy it on CD because this was on the radio all the time, and it was number one for so long that you were guaranteed to see the video every week on Top of the Pops, etc.
Yeah, I mean, this song was on. Again, this was a song that was really broken in the US by MTV.
Yep.
Obviously the video, if you haven't seen the video, it's a close-up shot of Sinead's face lit, similar to the cover, and there's just that iconic moment, isn't there, with a single tear just rolls down her face. Oh my God, it's such a good, just simple, it's one of those things where everything comes together and everything works.
Yeah, totally. Like you said, I was the same. I wouldn't have bought it. I liked it at the time. I'll admit I did get very bored of it because it was everywhere for so long.
Sure, yeah. It was just ubiquitous.
It was ubiquitous, exactly. And that's the thing, that's fine, but because I was so into, all right, let's watch Top of the Pops and see what the new ones are. Yeah. Oh, this is number one again.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get to see this video because this is on again.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough, yeah. I'm sure I felt the same at the time. Yeah. But going back to it now, this is a classic.
Totally. Looking back as, a much older person, with less vim and vigour about, oh God, not this again, just enjoying for what it is. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, but the thing you've got to say, I mean, like this is head and shoulders the best song on the record.
Yep.
And the irony is, obviously she didn't write it, but what you've got to say is that you can't say that she didn't bring something new to this song.
Absolutely, 100%.
This is one of those situations. When people talk about when is a cover version better than the original, this is one of those 100%.
This should be one of the first things that comes out of your mouth.
Yeah, this is John Carpenter's remake of The Thing versus the original. Anyway, right. So next track.
Next one. Okay, so track number 7 of 10. Number 7 is "Jump in the River."
Okay. Okay, we're back in Stomper territory.
Yeah. And again, because reading through the liner notes and stuff, this also has Andy Rourke ex-Smiths on guitar and bass on this song. So yeah, we're back in that, chugging along in these style. And this was actually, officially, this was the first single from the album, because this was released. It was released 2 years previous to the album. It was released in 1988.
Oh, okay.
Very late 88, obviously, but it didn't do anything at all.
So this wasn't on the previous album?
No.
So this was after the previous album, before...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. But it was released as a single, didn't do anything, and then she recorded, obviously, the rest of the album and put it on there. She released it as a B-side at this point, on the B-side of Nothing Compares to You.
Okay. Well, this, I mean, again, like... musically, it's quite straight ahead. Like we say, there's not, like you say, it chugs along. It's got some tempo to it. It's fine. But again, Christ, when you dig into the lyrics of this,
some weird stuff.
Oh my God! I mean, it seems to be about a tumultuous love affair that people don't approve of, right?
Right, yeah. I mean, I got that it was about a lover that she is very enamoured with, but it's not really working the way she wants it to.
Or the way that she sees it is not the way that other people see it.
Right, okay.
I mean, there's that line in there, Jesus Christ, right? It's talking about, like, not being swayed about opinions, and the line, "The worm has laid eggs in their heads, but not in my heart."
Yeah.
Fucking hell, mate.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
There's some imagery.
I mean, that is... And then remember the times we did it so hard there was blood on the wall.
Yeah,
it's like,
that's what stood out.
You're like you. Maybe you need to listen to your friends, Sinead.
Yeah.
I mean,
It sounds like she, and again, I'm assuming this is probably true, she probably got herself into some relationships that were not good for her.
Yeah, I mean, you can imagine that's the case.
Yeah, her point of view is going to be different to the rest of the world, because that's what happens when you're in that sort of weird and emotionally unstable relationship.
But just going through the lyrics of the song, do you think that Sinead O'Connor is someone that will listen to you if she doesn't agree with you?
Never. Absolutely no. Stubborn.
Oh mate, I think this is one of the most headstrong people you're likely to encounter. I would imagine it's very hard work being Sinead O'Connor's friend.
Yes. Well, indeed, as I suspect, her life has proved, she doesn't seem to have a lot of people looking out for her.
Yeah.
She doesn't have that sort of circle.
So yeah, okay.
I just in terms of the whole sound of that song, I got the impression it's the sort of thing that would fit in a film soundtrack for like US teens, maybe at a prom.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've got here. You've definitely got like it's really kind of. You get those 80s soundtrack synths coming through, don't you? And you can you can see the people with the hair doing the dancing.
Yeah,
indeed, very much that. Yeah,
that's why I pictured it.
Okay, fair enough. I'm glad it's strange you come out like that's such a specific thing. But yeah, definitely.
But it is that kind of. For some reason, that vibe comes off. Yeah.
And there's going to be a fight next to some lockers in a bit. Yeah.
Indeed. Someone spiked the punch.
Something will say, "Go Tigers!"
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, all right.
So it's not bad. It's not a bad song, but it's a bit filler for me. This one,
for me, musically, it's filler, but I mean the lyrics in this song, and that for me, it's like, wow, that's some spiky writing. Those are not lyrics you expect to hear on a number one album.
Well, this is the other thing. This is the first one of the three that we've done.
Yeah,
that is into that territory. Yeah, and she doesn't let up.
No, and that's it. Like the first two records we've listened to are records that I'm never going to have an affinity with. This is more in my wheelhouse.
Right, number 8, which is "You Cause As Much Sorrow."
Yes,
another happy tune.
Yes.
Right, here we are. Nice slow piano-y intro here.
I'm full of good intentions, like I never was before.
See, I'm not keen on those vocals. That's that kind of weird, tremulous, quiet, timid thing she's doing. I don't get it from her.
It's very breathy, isn't it? It's very kind of John Lewis advert.
Right.
It's nothing. It's never that.
But I know what you mean.
But you hear that with the piano, and it's quite Tori Amos.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean this for me kind of singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not that interested in it really. Obviously, the song's called "You Cause As Much Sorrow," and the main lyric in it is "Dead as you did alive."
Yeah.
Right? And this is a song about her mother.
Yes.
This is, and fuck me, that's a damning thing to say about your mum.
An incredibly horrible thing to say.
I mean, wow. I mean, you've got to be feeling some powerful emotions, right? And that's the thing that I find weird about this. Like the level of emotion in the song is incongruous to the level of bile in the lyrics.
Yeah, it's not an angry tune. It's not a violent tune, but it's really hard words.
Yeah, exactly. And it's if you feel passionately enough to write that, then you would expect that to come through in the song.
True.
And again, I'm not kind of questioning sincerity on it, but it just doesn't work for me as a piece.
It's a weird juxtaposition.
Yeah,
that's true.
Again, for me, this record works most when there's just a kind of a weird edge to something in there. When it's doing something a little bit different. I say that obviously the album works best for me when it's Nothing Compares to You.
Right. Okay. Sure.
But anyway, right. But this one, I don't mind it, but I don't hate it, but I don't.
Sure, but you're right. It does seem out of place with itself. And whenever you think of the rest of the lyrics, there's that bit in there where there's kind of la 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 la's and stuff, and that's bizarre. That coming through at the end of just some backing thing coming. It's like, I don't think you need that.
Yeah,
it does sound strange.
I mean, I wonder though. I wonder if that comes into the changing of your emotions from the day you wrote something to the day you sing it.
Maybe.
You know, but
Maybe.
you know, maybe you kind of commit yourself to something and then you don't quite feel as strongly on the day. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe she's in a more forgiving frame of mind a year on or something when she's actually come to record it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, right. So
we've only got 2 songs to go. So let's do a little bit of a break from the album
singles
and go into top 10 singles of the week. Right, so this week in 1990, top 10 singles. Number 10, we have Guru Josh, Infinity.
1990.
Yeah, time for the Guru.
Time for the Guru.
Yeah, and this was everywhere as well.
Oh, man, I loved this.
Yeah. Not enough saxophone solos in house music either.
No. Do you know what? That's my favourite thing about this fucking Sinead O'Connor record so far is there are no horns in it.
But yeah, Guru Josh, Riding High at 10. God, that is just so 1990 all over, isn't it? Well, fine. Well, yeah, you have that, Guru. I hope it's treated you well the past 20 years. Number 9 is, well, Michael Bolton, How Am I Supposed to Live Without You? We did mention the album before. The single, which I think was number 1 previously in the US, had just got over to the UK.
Yeah.
So yeah, How Am I Supposed to Live? And this is it's ridiculous, this song, obviously. It's overblown in every way.
This song was fucking, do you know what I mean, soaking knickers in unhappy marriages across the world.
God. The passion and the strained vocals.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
Yeah.
Imagine him doing his tax return with the same level of emotion.
He had his eyes closed in every bit of the video, I'm sure.
To the point where I was like, is this guy partially sighted? I've had to see him walking down the road with a guide dog and a stick.
Oh, let's get to the chorus then. I mean, fucking hell. Yeah, it's one of those classic power ballads. It will go on forever in its own little world. As opposed to number 8, which is Let's Have a More Sax Solo, Dave Stewart and Candy Dulfer.
Oh, I love this.
Lily Was Here.
I loved this at the time.
Really?
I haven't heard this for a while.
Okay, right, well, it's very of its time production-wise there. Almost sounds like the Miami Vice theme.
Oh, I see what you mean, yeah, a bit of Jan Hammer.
Yeah. Right, so yeah, where's this saxophone? From her album Saxuality.
Saxuality.
Yeah. Oh, Dave Stewart first, right, yeah. And then...
Oh. Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. Amazing.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
I haven't heard this in a long while. It hasn't held up well, has
No,
it?
it should be a scene in a steamy scene in like an 11 o'clock Channel 4 TV show.
Yeah.
You know, whenever
It's like, no,
Hill
yeah.
Street Blues is having.
Or maybe like Tom Cruise is pretending he likes to have sex with women
Oh man.
through a gauze.
That was big as well.
Of course it was. It was. People loved the fucking saxophone in the late 80s, early 90s.
That's true. Next one, number 10, 9, 8, 7. This is bullshit. This is fucking dreadful.
Right.
See, even tell me what this is straight away.
Oh, this is Candy Flip. Yeah, Candy Flip,
Fucking
Strawberry
Candy
Fields.
Flip. Yeah. And the thing is, I'd obviously heard the Beatles version.
I haven't.
I had at this point, because it'll be on at some point. My mum or my aunt will have played it, absolutely. But this is the first time I heard it lots.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is what it's like. Is this song?
Oh,
Fucking nonsense.
this is terrible.
Fucking
mate.
dreadful.
This is terrible.
Yeah, an embarrassment. Absolute fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, everyone involved with this should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah. Oh, Candy.
But I remember, what the worst thing is, I remember liking it at the time.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. But the thing is as well, because I seem to remember so many songs had that kind of shuffling beat.
Yeah.
So I probably associated it with the good stuff that had that in it as well. You know, I was like, oh, well, this is a bit like Fool's Gold. This is a bit like
Yeah. Oh,
some
my
Soul
God.
to Soul tracks or whatever.
God, can you imagine if you actually thought that?
I know, this is it.
That'd be like if you were the kind of person that bought a Creed album, thought it was a bit like Nirvana.
So exactly true.
How many women do you reckon there are in America right now that fucked someone from Creed and now really regret it?
Oh god!
At one point, it was a really cool story, and now it's like, that guy. I don't know, the rest of Creed are in fucking Alterbridge, didn't they? So they've kind of got some cred, but just the singer.
Well, yeah, Scott Stapp.
Just the alcoholic Christian singer.
Oh god! Next one, number 5. New Kids on the Block. I'll Be Loving You Forever.
Oh, this is a bad song.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember this at the time at all.
I had the album.
Right. I had avoided as much of this as possible, I think. But yeah, listening to it just to put it in this playlist, this is rubbish.
Yeah.
Obviously, again, it's not for me.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't a teenage girl.
Yeah, exactly. I hear that though. It's like, mate, that's like pure. Here's some Disney for your princess.
That's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my little.
And this was on their album called Hangin' Tough as well.
We're rough.
Fucking shite.
What? That is like some sub Donny Osmond shit right there, isn't it?
Osmond is actually, that's so spot on. Yes. Yeah. Right. Well, I'm done with that anyway. The next one isn't on Spotify. Luckily enough, Jive Bunny's That Sounds Good to Me. We've talked about that before. It's just shite.
We don't need to hear Jive Bunny.
No. Who apparently, because I was looking up to see, if it was on YouTube and stuff, still releasing records.
Jive Bunny is still releasing records?
Well, at least one in 2016.
I mean, how long do rabbits live for?
He's not a mix master, he's a mixomatosis master.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Did you make that up?
I just did.
Wow.
Anyway, number 3. This is goody though. Erasure of Blue Savannah.
Oh my god, this is a tune.
This is finally we get to something decent in the top 10. I must admit though, if you'd said to me when was Blue Savannah, I'd have gone 80s straight away.
No, I'd have said 90.
Did you? Right, fair enough. I thought it was much earlier.
No, this was it wasn't like it was like third album for them or something.
I'm not sure album wise. There you go.
Come on. I mean, when I made my when I think that Erasure just had so many more hits.
Yeah. Well, each one was just a big hit. That's a catchy tune.
Mate, Andy Bell, what a voice.
Yeah.
What a voice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, happy with that one.
Cool.
Not number 3. Number 2, and this has been hanging around for a while, I think. So you'll get this one immediately.
Oh yeah, Beef and Please.
Yeah, and this was massive.
Yeah, I mean, I loved this song, right? And I've got to admit, this is a song that has really suffered from overuse over the years.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. And because this is a great song, but I struggle with it now.
Yeah, if it came on a shuffle, I'd skip it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. 9 times out of 10. Every now and again, it will hit me, and I'll be like, I'm going to listen to this.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's the sort of thing as well. Even if someone got me to DJ a wedding, right, and I knew that would fill the floor, I'd probably go, I don't know if I want to. I would just not out of spite, but just out of God, it's so tired.
And I've got to say that I think the one thing about the B-52s for me, it's at the back of my mind, I genuinely believe that Greg Proops is the singer from the B-52s.
Never seen them together.
No, exactly.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's a good tune, played far too much, and it's a bit cloying. It's overly ridiculously poppy, but the first few times you hear that, fucking brilliant.
Yeah, sure.
And then number 1, and this is brilliant.
What we got?
You're listening to the boy from the big bad city. This is jam hot. This is jam hot.
Mate, what tune.
Fucking brilliant.
Oh my god.
Straight away. First time I heard this, I was in love with it. Yeah.
So obviously, like Norman Cook involved in this.
Yes,
did
indeed.
he? Did he write the whole tune?
Well, no, it's a cover.
Oh God, it is a
It's
cover.
a cover, exactly.
That as well, yeah.
The bass line is a Clash sample, and the vocal is a cover of a. Is it not Corgis? I can't remember the name. The 7980.
Yeah,
we did it. But yeah, so but he's put the two together. It's almost like a mashup.
Yeah.
But I'd never heard either of those before. No. I had not heard the Clash one. I'd not heard the original.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Lindy Layton's vocal on it.
Brilliant.
Oh, great. And I fancied the shit out of
Same
Lindy
as.
Layton. I was like, as a teenage boy. I was
This
like,
is it. You know, in that video, and she's wearing a hoodie, she looks just pretty, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that did it for me.
Well, I'd like to take you to a disco.
Yeah. And this was number one for a while as well, I seem to remember.
Oh yeah, this was a long number one. And I remember him on Top of the Pops with it.
Yeah.
And like really miming that Tank Fly Boss walk.
Indeed,
really badly.
Yes, really badly. And obviously, listening to it now, it's ridiculous. It is cheesy as shit, and I don't know who wrote it and what they thought they were saying. But at the time, I thought it was the coolest fucking thing.
Oh yeah, me too, man.
Yeah, Tank Fly Boss. What? No idea.
Yeah, no idea, mate. No idea at all. You keep saying those words there, my friend.
Yeah. This is Wells Street.
Brilliant tune. Right.
So, yeah, very happy with it.
So on a similar note, let's get back into Sinead O'Connor.
Tottenham Street. Okay, so yes, we're into the final stretch. Track 9 of 10 is Last Day of Our Acquaintance. So,
right.
Let's start this one. Another slow starter.
Yep.
This is the last day of our acquaintance. I will meet you later in somebody's office.
Okay. So that's what it's doing at the beginning anyway.
Yeah.
It's a song about divorce.
Yeah.
It's having gone through the relationship songs where it's not working or is it working, she's just gone for this bit of it. This is a divorce song.
Do we wonder, right? Because obviously there's that time lapse between the song about blood on the wall.
Yep.
Right. Because that's a couple of years earlier. Do we think it's the same relationship?
Well, here's the thing, right? She was married to a guy called John Reynolds, who's also one of the producers of this album,
right,
and is on drums on some songs.
Okay.
She had her first child by him in 1987.
Yeah.
And they were together.
Yeah.
She didn't divorce him until 1991.
Okay.
And so, if she's writing this song, I can only imagine he was a bit perturbed.
Right.
Because it's a very, not specific, it's not about a specific case, but it's a very definite song about divorce and meeting in the office to have the end of your friendship.
Yeah.
And he's still married to her at the time.
Well, I mean, who knows what's going on though? Do you know what I mean? There could be,
true.
it could have been they were ready for it and it didn't
so,
happen.
Maybe
or,
so, but then also he's a drummer on some of this, so it's just bizarre that they're still.
Gig's a gig though, isn't it, mate? You've met drummers.
True.
A drummer's not going to turn down something for something like emotion.
Yeah. But yeah, it's about how formal and stilted the end, those death throes of a relationship really are.
Yeah.
That you've lost all the spark from the beginning.
Right. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I found this song very moving, if the truth be told.
Oh, really? Okay.
I really like this one.
Okay.
I thought everything lined up in this. It's not doing anything like particularly new or amazing, but I just thought it was really nicely delivered. I thought it was
okay.
I mean, it's an album track, obviously, but it's a really good album track.
I like I think it's I don't like the message. I don't like singing about divorce, whatever. But I think it's a well put together imagery and the way she makes you think about it. I think that is good. There's one line in it that kind of jarred with me. The bit about you used to hold my hand when the plane takes off.
Yeah.
That's a little bit sixth form poetry to me.
Well, I mean, it's if it's it depends how you look at it, I suppose. If it's a real thing that happens and it's a thing that's I mean, I think if you're like appraising Sinead O'Connor's writing in any way, you've kind of go, it's all got these personal touches. So if you look at it in terms of that, it's in keeping with the rest of it.
That's true. It just jarred a bit for me a little.
Okay.
I think it's okay.
That's because you're a cynical old bastard.
Well, there's that. There's that. I did like 3 minutes in, it kicks up a gear. So it's been doing this for a little bit.
Yep.
And then
this big breakdown.
Exactly. There's your Radiohead creep bit there.
Yeah. I think that's what separates it as well. I wrote breakdown at the end here and I forgot about it, but this is.
Yeah, no, exactly. This is where it actually picks it up a notch for me.
Yeah, this is really, really good.
But also listening to this and her vocals and that style, that's Alanis Morissette.
Oh my god, it is. Oh wow, this is Alanis Morissette, yeah.
Yeah, this is surely, Alanis is whatever, let's say early teens at this point.
Yeah.
She's probably listening to this, getting some ideas.
Oh wow. I wonder if that's true. Let's phone up Alanis and ask her.
Yeah, no, this is okay. It absolutely is alright. But I don't know, there were just some bits of it jarred with me.
No, I like this one. This is one of my favourites on the record.
Fair play.
And I think if the whole song had sounded like that stomp at the end, it'd have been a single.
Totally, because it does come in 3.5 minutes in,
exactly,
with only 1 minute to go. Had it come in a minute and a half, and there'd been 2 verses like that, straight away there's radio. In America especially, that's a radio hit.
Oh sure, straight away. Right, so we're at the end.
We are. This is it. This is the last one, track number 10.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the title track. I do not want what I haven't got.
I'm walking through the desert, and I'm not frightened, although it's hard.
Yeah. I would say I'll skip to the bit where it changes. But it doesn't.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, I don't think anything really would have surprised me about this because I expect it to be a contrarian. But finishing that album with a 5.5 minute, well, nearly 6 minute solo vocal performance.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, it's not what I'd have done. But
no.
I mean, who gives a fuck what I'd have done? I've never recorded never recorded a record that anyone's listened to. But for me, the main thing about this, right, regardless of whether the choice to do that is a good or a bad thing, I've got mixed feelings about that in records generally. Spoken word in what is essentially a spoken word piece in the middle of. I mean, it's not because she sings it.
But it's an a cappella, and it's as well, and it doesn't do anything else except for that one little up and down bit. That's it for the 5 minutes.
Exactly, and
nothing else.
And the thing about it, right? So if you've got that, then the message of the song and the lyrical content of it has to sustain it alone, right? Because that's what you've got.
Yep.
But what's funny about this song is the message of this song is I'm content with what I've got. I don't want what I haven't got. Right? That's what that is. But that is utterly incongruous with the rest of the record. The rest of the record is someone in conflict with themselves, constantly asserting that they're right. Everybody else is right. This is someone searching for something, right?
Yes.
And this is someone that definitely wants some peace, right? And that is something that they haven't got. So that's the main problem with this for me. It's bullshit. I think she believes it, but I think it's bullshit.
Right. But another thing I was reading around this was that she was investigating, is it Kabbalah or Kabbalah?
Yeah.
Kabbalah. And she was getting into that, and there's a line somewhere else about everything I need is inside me. Yeah. So this, to me, is her trying to project that.
Well, if you start off with that beginning quote,
God, give me the
I mean that's kind of all about mindfulness. Okay,
sure.
Kind of mindfulness all kind of attaches around all of these things. It's the voice of someone vocalizing something that they desire. Okay,
right. Okay,
but that doesn't make it true.
Sure.
And I think the one thing that we can see from Sinead over the years is that whatever piece she's been looking for, she's not found. I mean,
no, she's
she's still looking for it in different religions. She's, we're recording this in November. She's been in the news this week, converting to Islam and making statements about not wanting to spend time with white people, and just typically controversial, big statements. you know, I mean, I've seen people kind of coming down, oh, what a and it's like, mate, this is someone that's not well.
No, she's dramatically unwell.
She's dramatically
Still
unwell.
is.
Yeah. And, you know, she's, you know, I think sometimes having the resources to be unwell is not the greatest help to people.
No, and I suspect her stubborn-headed thing is probably not helping, because no matter what anyone else says, I don't know what circle she has around her, a lot of her family seem to have abandoned her. She doesn't talk to some of her kids that well, so she's not got people helping her out and saying, come this way, or don't do this, it's going to be bad for you, or whatever. I
suspect, you know, I mean again, I'm very loath to talk a lot about something I don't really know about, but I'm sure she's burnt a lot of bridges herself. Yeah, I'm sure people have tried to help her, and anyway,
that's going to be part of her pain. Yeah,
but yeah, so I mean, you know, let's hope she kind of finds something. But yeah, so anyway, so just to sum up this record, so sum up this last song.
Yeah,
unnecessary for me.
Yes, I think contrarian, the word you used, is probably correct. I think she's done it on purpose, stuck it on as a tester. It's not one that people are going to enjoy as much as endure, but it's what she wants to do.
Yeah, and fair play to her. And, you know, again, in that regard, it is in keeping with the rest of it. I mean, let's talk about this album as a whole, okay? I mean, for me, this is the first of the 3 records we've listened to where this is an artist... who's got something that they really have to say,
right?
Okay, and whether it all holds together, it's kind of got that's kind of, you know, kind of very kind of it's a very bitty album. It's certainly not something that holds together as a complete piece of work. I don't think.
No, she's trying a lot of different things in there.
Yeah, but to me it's a record that signifies a very creative person. And you know, I've got to say I was pleasantly surprised by it.
Same as.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what I was going to get out of this.
No.
I was scared that it was going to be a lot more of the Nothing Compares to You, just ballads.
Yeah.
Produced ballads. I was also unsure if it was just going to be discordant nonsense.
Yeah.
Because or not discordant, but no tunes.
Sure.
Just literally, here's a song that I'm going to have to listen to, and I didn't like that. No, actually, really enjoyed this.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. I'd say it's not a classic album.
I don't think I'm going to put it on again as an album.
No.
I'm happy to listen to some of these for sure in the future, but
yeah, no. It's something where you go, okay, whatever your opinion of this is, you can't question that there's someone trying to achieve something.
Definitely.
And working their way out through it. So yeah, not a perfect record. Again, like I say, I'm with you. I'm not going to be going back. But when it comes to our playlist,
indeed, yes, the Pop Collaborating Listen playlist,
what we're going to put on it, okay.
Right,
this is last week I was struggling for anything.
Oh right? God, yeah.
And here
last week there was only one that was possible.
Yeah.
I
mean, I'm here and I'm like, okay, nothing compared to you goes on it. Right?
That's a given.
That's a given. I'm going to say I would like to see Emperor's New Clothes on there.
Yes, I would agree with that for sure.
Yeah. I would also, I think we'll probably disagree on this one. I'd make a case for Last Day of Our Acquaintance.
Okay.
But I'll be happy to concede that as well.
I would put Last Days of Our Acquaintance in.
Okay.
Because as an example of what the album is,
yeah,
I think it's fine.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Right, there we go.
And that's the 3. We've agreed on 3 maximum. There's the 3.
Okay, sweet.
Done. And I think it's worth just going over how big this album was at the time.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, obviously the single was the boost. It was the catalyst.
Yeah.
But it went fucking massive worldwide. It was, you know, Grammy nominated. She won a Brit and a Grammy and was the first person to refuse collecting them. Apparently.
Nice.
She was the first Irish woman to top both the UK and US album charts.
Yeah.
7 million copies this is sold. It's a massive album.
Yeah. And let's not forget, most importantly, inspired one of the best episodes of Father Ted.
That is also true. Yeah. God, I wonder if she hates that. I wonder if she's
I mean, you know, you'd kind of hope she got a sense of humour about it, but I don't know. I don't reckon she probably had. I don't. She's probably seen it and doesn't think it's about her.
That could be true.
There you go. But anyway, right. Okay. Wow. So, okay, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that of the 3 albums that we've listened to so far, this is so far my favourite #1 album of the 90s.
Yes, there you go. That's what we can say.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
Exactly. That we've listened to on the podcast. Yeah. Anyway, right. Well, I guess we'll leave it there then. Okay. Until next week then.
Thank you very much. Till next time.